I love you. Still having fun?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Still having trouble reading you.
I just want to do it. I just want to.
All right. Stop
I
talking.
don't like
about
talking about it. I just
Be
don't
about
talk
it?
about it. Just be about it.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to Messy Matrimony episode 2. Last week we talked a little bit about just kind of introducing ourselves, who we are, why we're doing this, some of our goals in the process of putting our mess out there for the world to see and hopefully learn from and grow from a little bit. So we're excited to do this a second time. We appreciate all the great feedback that we got from folks, the great support of people encouraging us to keep putting our mess out there and sharing it with the world. So we will keep doing that as long as, like I said, as long as we can, as long as we keep enjoying it. So we'll go from there. Today, Becky and I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about the last several years building up to the implosion of our marriage a couple months ago, and really that 7-year itch and how we survived the first couple years fine, and then the last couple years have just been not enjoyable for anyone.
I'm holding my tongue.
Okay, sorry. And so we want to share a little bit of that, and that's what we'll hopefully get to today. So
Sure. And if you're listening to this, we just want to make sure that you're listening to it for yourself and not for your spouse. There's a lot you can probably gain from it, but if you're looking at it from a standpoint of being able to be like, oh, they did this and that's what you do, you're not gonna help yourself anywhere in that. But good luck if you do try. Also wanted to mention about abusive relationships. If you're in an abusive relationship at all, at that point you need to get safe. Not saying that your relationship is completely over, but the most important thing to do is to remember your value and your worth. So it's really important. Emotional safety and physical safety is something I want to stress on a regular basis.
that's really good. So I'll share first in a little bit about kind of how we built up to where we got. And I would say I arrogantly believe that I was a super husband, if you will. I felt like I helped out with the chores around the house, and I did the dishes, and I would do the laundry, and I took care of the kids, and took them to school and picked them up, and I was doing all the things. And I felt like it was never good enough, and I felt like Becky oftentimes was still upset.
Felt like you should have been praised for doing all of that stuff instead of being a partner in the marriage.
Yeah. And so all that said, I really struggled when Becky would have an offense of something I did or something I said, or had a problem with the way I did something, because I was just frustrated. I was like, I am a great husband. Like, what more do you want from me? And I just didn't want to listen to her. And
he doesn't drink, by the way. So that's great about him. I love that. I had an alcoholic boyfriend before him, so like I understand and really appreciate that he doesn't drink. But like he would be like, well, I'm not like coming home and just grab me a beer and watching a football game. Like, how come you don't appreciate that I'm not that guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I would go to work, and I love my job, and I love the people I work with, and I'm a very positive, optimistic, fun person. And then as soon as I got home, I would be frustrated and anxious and like be worried about upsetting Becky, and I would just kind of shut down, if you will, and move on and not really listen to the problems she had with me or listen to what was going on with her heart. I wanted to get defensive right away and argue like why I did this or why I did that or why she's wrong and why I'm right. And it did not go well ever. And so really I just kind of swept a lot of our issues under the rug, if you will. And we would get into a big fight about something, and I would walk away, and I would want to be left alone, and I would basically ignore the problem until either I forgot about it.
Completely forgot.
Yeah, I tend to just get over things and move on. And in my mind, I assumed all is well. Problem's done. Like, it was just a stupid tiff, and we moved on. And essentially, I just swept it under the rug and went about my day. And you can see this is causing some emotions in Becky. Rightfully so, because if you do that long enough, it's going to drive your spouse insane.
Yeah, I've spent the last several years questioning my mental health and my well-being. And every time I got emotional, Scott would make me out to be this psychopath or this completely hysterical woman because I wanted to address an issue. And I got really upset when an issue wouldn't get resolved. It would just be never addressed. And then I had to like just kind of cope on my own. I had to deal with all of the emotions. I journal a lot. I work out regularly. Like, I do a lot of self-care activities. And I think it's highly important because I think it's kept my sanity for this long. Like, it has literally given me some good understanding of how to care for myself, to take deep breaths, and to go get help when I need it, to process certain things, because Scott would never process them with me.
No, I have never been good at dealing with emotions or understanding emotions or how I feel or how she feels. And I've told her before, you're crazy. This is ridiculous. You're insane. And that only made the situation worse.
Really hurtful to hear from your spouse, of course.
And she did journal, and she would share some of the things she would journal with me. And I would just get defensive. Like, you're keeping a record of all my wrongs. And like, this is never going to work. And I just kept sweeping everything under the rug. And that might work for a little while, but eventually your rug's going to get pretty lumpy and you're going to have a big problem to deal with. And I didn't want to face it. Like, I do all the things I need to do. I'm a good dad. I'm a good husband.
You are a good husband.
But I thought I was good enough, and I didn't want to hear my errors or what I needed to do better, and I didn't want to listen. And so Becky was always upset and frustrated. I shouldn't say always or never, but it felt like to me she was always upset by what I was doing.
I was upset a lot.
And so I was always afraid to say the wrong thing. I was always afraid to do the wrong thing. I was always worried, like, what's the next fight going to be about? And so I kind of closed myself off and pulled myself out of the relationship.
Well, he's kind of taking a lot of the blame. And I would get crazy angry. Like, after a little while, like 5 years, it was him not addressing things. So then I would take the things out from under the rug, show them to your face, and then like got super mad, super in your face, like, no, I'm gonna make sure you hear me. I'm gonna escalate and make sure you can hear me. And so like there was a lot of yelling and kind of like just an explosive kind of anger that he saw from me for a little while too.
Yeah. And I'm very much, I don't like confrontation. And so I would suppress a lot of the things that I was bothered by her with, or that I was frustrated with, or I just kind of would ignore, and it would build up. And then I would explode on her over something, or she would bring something to me that she was upset about. And then I'm just like, you want to talk about this? Let's talk about this, and start throwing it back in her face and yelling and screaming. And we would just compete. And it was miserable.
It was a sad 7 years.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And we had really good times together. I mean, if you knew us, if you are in our circle,
if you saw our social media,
yeah,
you would laugh. You'd be like, these people are just full of it now.
Yeah.
Like, they are so perfect, and they have such... I won't post anything that's not, like, really cute or, shows my insecurities. I'm a very private person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just my personality. So to be on camera right now is like,
You're doing great.
Thanks. But, yeah, it takes a lot. So.
But yeah, I mean, we put on the show, and we, like I said, we'd have good times. We had a good physical relationship. We got along most of the time, but as the time went on, the time we were getting along was less and less, and the time we were fighting was more and more. And what could be a stupid, simple fight would drag on for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And
I mean, you left the plate out on the table?
We got in a fight this week. How long did it last?
About a plate left out on the table.
We don't want to dig into this.
It lasted like 3 hours longer than it should have.
Yeah.
But we're still a work in progress. We're all just doing the best we can.
Yeah. We definitely did not handle it the way we should. But we came together, ultimately, and instead of it taking 4 days, it took 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, progress over perfection. So we're getting there. So all that to say, everyone, again, if you're ignoring things in your relationship and you're just kind of sweeping them under the rug and hoping they'll go away, this is talking to probably all the men out there, it's not going to go away. You're just because we forgot about it doesn't mean your spouse forgot about it and they're not still holding on to that and it hasn't been resolved.
Or want to address it.
Yeah.
Your spouse wants to address the issue that's there.
And so 2 years ago, we kind of realized, you know what, this isn't working. We need to get professional help in counseling. And we had talked about it for a long time, but we never pulled the trigger on it because I didn't want to be the first one to make the move, and I didn't know how to do it. And I've never got counseling before, so I didn't even know where to begin, to be honest.
So I took the lead, which I usually do. And
it's because I was scared to do anything.
I got help for my anger issues, which kind of helped after like one time talking to somebody about it. Like, yeah, it's our job as adults to control our emotions. And I really loved our counselor. Still work with counselors. We still understand the value of maintaining good relationships and keeping them healthy from now on. You really have to kind of realize like the value of yourself. In separating, we understood that. I think we kind of got to know it. Like, you can be the only person that God made you to be. Like, so that nobody else can be that person for you. And you can't ask for somebody else to make up for something that you are lacking in. Like,
yeah.
Doing individual work is really important as well.
We spend a lot of time pointing the finger at one another and saying, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what the problem is. This is what you need to fix. This is what's wrong with you. And we did not really spend a lot of time. We did not spend a lot of time worrying about ourselves. And I can't control Becky. I can't fix Becky. I can't change the way she thinks, the way she behaves. I can only control myself. And so we wasted a lot of time and energy trying to do that. You're the one that needs to apologize. You're the one that needs to say you're sorry. You're the one that needs to forgive me. And it didn't go anywhere. And so, yeah, we started getting counseling. The first individual counseling I got, I did not have a good experience with, and didn't get much out of it. We eventually started getting couples counseling together, which...
If you don't like your counselor, go to someone else.
Yeah. Which the couples counseling was good, but I don't think I was really being completely honest with myself. And I didn't want to really face the reality of who I was in the relationship. And I wanted to kind of just kind of pretend like, yeah, I'm a good husband and Becky needs to get with the program and be thankful for who she's married to. And it wasn't sustainable. And for Becky, trying to tell me for years and years and years what she needs and what she wants and me not listening is going to drive her crazy. And what we're even seeing now in our country is, the voice of the unheard is violence, whether that's yelling or screaming or shouting or shaking or whatever it may be, if you're not being heard, you're
gonna be upset. You're
and
gonna
that's
act a little bit unpleasant.
And so when she acted unpleasant, I thought she was crazy, which only made it worse. And so it was rough. And obviously we reached this climax. You know, we've been getting counseling for 2 years. We've gone to several different counselors. They keep kind of, after a while, telling us, like, hey, you probably need to get another set of eyes on this. We're not making progress, like, not sustainable progress. Like, yes, we're giving you the tools, you're not really using them. That was, I think, even more frustrating and deflating for us going through that. And it kind of felt like this feels almost hopeless.
It was more him.
It was more me.
I'm a big optimist.
And it's because I didn't want to face it. Like, for me, it was like almost easier to give up than for me to fix. Well, like I said, I thought she was the one that needed fixed, and I wasn't taking responsibility for my part in it. So
it's so nice to have, like, this documented. Like, I can take this and show it to our kids later, or to our grandkids, and just be like, look.
I can't wait.
He can't remember it now, but he used to be such a jerk.
But, and like Becky said earlier, I'm still working on it. Like,
I'm still working on it.
A long way to go.
Yeah.
But I'm able to listen a little bit better. I'm trying to empathize most of the time. I think I told you last episode, I'm scoring probably a 75 passing.
I have no idea what your score would be, but
Oh, well.
If we didn't have a personal relationship with Jesus, I don't know how this could have worked out. I think it's really important for us to have really close relationships with friends, pastors, coworkers, mentors, parents, everybody that you can possibly reach out to. But I really hope you continue to watch and that you continue to gain something from knowing that we are all just trying to do the very best that we possibly can.
I am now. I wasn't doing the best I could before. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right, thanks.
Do you forgive yourself?
I'm working on too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time.
We have a lot to forgive ourselves about too.
Well, hopefully this helps somebody out there. Obviously, we're just digging into the messy matrimony. And next time we'll maybe dive a little bit more into our actual separation. We haven't even got to that yet. But we're going to keep sharing it with you, and we're going to keep giving you updates. Like I said, we are still getting into tips here and there. Fortunately, we're figuring out how to get through them a little bit better.
I mean, everybody fights. There's no way we can eliminate all the fights.
Yeah.
But
Everybody poops too, in case you're wondering. But sorry. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like so you can get notifications. We're going to keep pushing stuff out and keep sending your support for us. We love you all. We're praying for you all. And we'll see you next time. Love you.
love you.